guys, welcome back to Cracking Books Open. I'm Noelle and we are here today to talk about our third installment of Wizard's First Rule. Check that out. As you can see, I do have some notes to talk about today, and I've already transferred them down. If you have not done it yet, or if you're just new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. I have a lot in the future coming. So, to catch you up, Wizard's First Rule focuses around a man named Richard who is a seeker and he's trying to save the world. Dun dun dun! And he is accompanied by a very powerful woman. Her name is Kaylin, who happens to be a confessor, which we found out exactly what that means in this section of reading. And then he's also accompanied by the most funny person in this story. His name is Zed. And he's a wizard. So their mission is to save the world. Like I said, guys, save the world from the big, the bad, the ugly, the evil, Darkenrahl. And he's just pure, unconcentrated evil. Okay? He is. So, in order to save the world from this big bad evil, they have to cross over the boundary, which is the equivalent of the underworld. They have to survive attacks from creatures, beasts, people, armies, you name it. The world is just... World's not giving them any break. And they need to get over to the Midlands to find this box of Orden to prevent Darkenrahl from opening it and further causing harm. In the process, they witness many murders. They hear of tales of rape. They hear of tales of all sorts of inhumanly acts. So they're being stalked by these creatures who want to cause them harm and even eat them. And this whole trip for them has just been hell. But it's worth it because, you know, they have their hopes set on the fact that they're going to save the world, and Richard's hoping that he could be done with magic forever. So this section of reading is where you really get to see Richard and Kaylin's love for each other blossom and then get shut down. They can't be together because Kaylin has this power, which we finally found out what it is. So since she's a confessor, basically she has the power to make anybody do anything with her touch because they fall madly, deeply in love with her. Now, I know that sounds kind of, I'll let you fill in the blanks. I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact that her power is making people fall in love. That's not the power that I would want if I was all powerful, if I was held at a regard higher than a queen, higher than a king. Like, I'm gonna make you fall in love with me? No, that is not the power that I would choose. She doesn't have that choice, by the way. She's just born into it. But still, you know, the author could have gave her something a little bit cooler. So I am kind of disappointed that her power is to make people fall in love. Spoiler alert. Zed is foretold in a prophecy to fight Richard. And I have two thoughts on why this would happen. I mean, prophecies don't have to actually come true in this world, but if it were to, these are the reasons why I would think. The first one, I suspect Richard would either slip up and tell them that he is basically the book because, you know, if you recall, he has memorized the book and then burnt it. So it doesn't exist except in his brain. So I suspect that he'll slip up and tell them that he's the book, and Zed will have to kill him for knowing, because if he kills him, then that prevents Rahl from taking over. And he'll have no way of getting the knowledge in that book. Or Kaylin gets taken and claimed by Rahl and is forced to make Richard confess. And in that confession, Richard will tell them that he is the book. And I say he is the book just because he has that knowledge. He's not physically a book. And then once again, the outcome would be the same. Zed would kill him because Zed knows that he can do what is necessary to get the job done and to save everybody. I have to complain just for a few seconds. Why does Kaylin always go missing? She's disappearing all the dang time. That's a little too damsel in distressy for me. It's a little, girlfriend, just stay with him, hold his hand or something. Okay, so they finally mention the book, but it's very, very brief. This whole time we're waiting to see if anybody's gonna ask, like, where do we begin to look for this book? How do I find this book? Who do we think would have this book? Which is basically the key that opens the big doorway to saving or destroying the world. So it was just real brief, like, just real quick. We get introduced mid-storyline for Richard of a little girl named Rachel. And it's kind of out of place because she's a servant to a queen and a princess and she's being abused and all that. And you're hearing her storyline. And the whole time I'm thinking, what's the significance for her? Like, why is she in this story? Why am I reading about her and not about the journey? Fast forward a little bit, you find out, another spoiler, you find out that she is what's going to get that box of Orden out of the castle and hopefully to safety. She shockingly runs into Richard and Kaylin, but they don't realize that she has this box because it's hidden by magic. But I feel like they should be able to sense that there's magic in their presence. I feel like, I don't know, like, how could you not know? Because you're both attuned, if that makes sense. Kaylin and Richard take turns, like one person sleeps and one person stands watch to make sure nothing is coming in to hurt them. So this girl stays the night at their camp, and during Kaylin's watch, she runs away. And Kaylin doesn't realize this. How good of a watch could you have been standing to allow a little girl to disappear like that? I don't know. Lastly, Zed asks about the necklace that Richard is wearing, and again, it's very briefly mentioned. Kind of confusing because if you recall to the last video, this necklace is more than what it seems. Richard thinks that his father gave it to him for protection, and in reality, it is a tracking device from Raw, and no one knows. So there has to be a reason that Zed asked him, what necklace did you have again? And then what is that reason? Like, I want to know what that reason is, and I want to know why you didn't further inspect it or you didn't further discuss it, because hello, it's dangerous. For this section of rating, I am not satisfied, honestly, and I know there's going to be some people like my brother who's going to be disappointed to hear that, but this last 200 pages, they really didn't resonate with me. There was nothing outstanding or exciting. There was a lot of sorrow in it, for sure. There was a lot of sad things happening, but I feel like the progression is kind of plateaued right there. And I'm just not satisfied. So I hope that this book finishes off with a great ending. I really hope that the last 200 pages are going to finish the book with a great ending that will lead me into the second book. So far, I have done this in 3 episodes now. The first 2 episodes, the first 2 sections of this book, I was absolutely loving it. This last section that I just read, the third, it could have been better. It definitely could have been better. So I only have high hopes and high wishes for the last 200 pages. All right, guys. So if you have not done it yet, please help me grow by subscribing to my page. I promise you there will be more books. There will be more things coming out. Thank you so much for all of your contributions and your suggestions and just your love and support. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not had a chance to, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.